So welcome to our Geek Club webinar on Sunday night, the 6th of Feb 2022. It's just past 7. And Geek, for those who are tuning in for the first time, stands for the Generational Inheritance Group. And every Sunday night we have a club webinar where we tackle relevant topics that can help our members on their journey from struggle to significance. So if you are a guest, welcome, but please check us out on geek-institute.com, and I'll also put it on our edited video so that people can go look at it and check out our little courses, online courses, go through it, familiarize yourself with the material. And if you like it, join it as a paid member. And last week we shared about our various products where we have an investor club product, an interest-free loan product, savings products, and many other things for people to support them on their journey from struggle to significance. Tonight, I'm privileged to have Gavin Julian as our guest speaker. Gavin Julian is the CEO of the Gig Institute. He joined Gig in 2016, and we came together in 2016, but he's been working on these generational wealth systems for him and his family and other people for many, many years prior to us meeting. And then he also added some wonderful other skills that he will touch on tonight, especially on how can we use technology to maximize our effort and also minimize cost. So Gavin, I think without any further ado, I'm handing over to you to take us into the evening.
Okay. Hi, everybody. The screen is intentionally black, by the way. That's how I start all my online presentations, because just to make sure that people are listening before we start. Are you seeing a black screen? Okay, great. Super. Guys, what I'm going to show you tonight is how you can become pretty efficient online. And in fact, what I've called it is you can actually create your own virtual head office if you want to. And the software you require and the systems you require are all free. And that to me is incredibly important, because if you're an individual who's not running a large company and you haven't got staff and all that sort of stuff, paying for software can be quite expensive. And if you can find software that does the job without having to put any money out, that makes a huge difference. So let's start off with showing you what we're talking about. And in fact, one of the most important pieces of software that you require is actually an email system. Now, email systems, there are many of them out there. And in fact, Microsoft has sort of cornered the marketplace for a long, long time. I have unfortunately never been a fan of Microsoft. I don't like them. I don't like the way that they sort of force people into stuff. And as a result of that, when Google came out with Gmail, I had a long look at it. And in the beginning, it wasn't very good. However, Google has become, I think, the de facto leader in terms of online software. And they have a lot of product. But I want to deal with Gmail in particular because, firstly, it's fully integrated. And what that means is that you can obviously do mail, but now you can also do chats, either with individuals or groups. You can do meetings, either video or voice. You can store files, you can retrieve files, you can display files, you can share files. You can put tasks together, you can refer to your calendar, you can put stuff on your calendar from an email. All of it happens from one screen. And I think it's incredibly important that that gets understood. that all of this happens from one single screen. When you go into the screen, you don't have to leave it. All of this stuff is available to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull up a brand new email account, which I started, I think, I don't know, lunchtime today, somewhere around there, that will allow us to have a look at what it looks like when you start a Gmail account, and then what you need to do to get access to all of these things. Now, what you've got in front of you is a brand new Gmail account. Forget about the Cloud HQ stuff. It's because I had this installed on Chrome that it came up. And what I've done is I've created a Gmail account for a thing called Community SA, which is something, a project Jasper and I are busy looking at. And this is a brand new email account. It has had nothing done to it. I just joined Gmail and that's it. Now, having done that, there are a couple of things you need to do in order to set things up properly. And the first most important thing to do is to go to settings. On the top right-hand side here, you see that gear icon. If you click on that, what it does on the right-hand side is give you a shortened version of the settings. Now, unfortunately, that's not good enough. So there's a button here that says See All Settings. If you go to that, it gives you the original settings screen. And the first and most important thing you need to do is go along to a menu item on the settings screen here called Chat and Meet. And on the Chat and Meet, I suggest you switch on Google Chat, say OK. I like it on the left side of the inbox, and then also show the Meet section in the main menu, and then save the changes. Now, once you've done that, and you go back to your Gmail, which is now, by the way, called Google Workspace. If you look on the bottom left here, you've got Chat, which I'm going to minimize, Spaces, and once it gets rid of the waiting for Gmail, etc., we can switch all that off. You'll see Chat, Spaces, and Meet on the bottom left of the screen. Now, if any of you have ever worked with chat facilities online, and for the life of me, the name of it has escaped me. Slack, that's right. If any of you have ever worked with Slack, chat and Spaces is very similar to Slack. Chat is one-on-one chats that you do online where you can type messages to each other, yeah? And Spaces is where you talk to groups. And again, you're typing things in, you're sharing files, you're doing all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to open up a space here. I'm going to create a space. I'm going to call this space test space. And I'm going to create it. And what happens is that it actually comes up in the Gmail screen. So I haven't left the Gmail screen at all. And by the way, it's a brand new installation, so all sorts of help things are coming up. Now you see we're in a group here called test, and we can do a chat. And under the chat, we can add people, we can share a file, and we can assign tasks to anyone who's in the chat. On the bottom here, you see this where it says history is on. On the right to that is a little smiley face. In other words, you can add an emoji. You can add a GIF, which is a sort of repeating motion file. You can upload a file, or you can go straight to a video meeting and add a video meeting. But also to the left of that, there's a little plus sign. And you can add a file from your Google Drive, or you can create a Google Doc, a Google Slide, or a Google Sheet, which you are sharing with the people that are in this chat room that you're working with. At the top here, you can see we're in the chat. But here you can also look at the files, if you click on files, that have been sent by the individuals within this group to the group. And you can actually have a look at the tasks, which are the tasks that are assigned to the individuals in the group. If we go back to the chat, if I want to type something, I can just type whatever I like in here. And once I'm finished, I send it. It now becomes part of this group. Everyone on the group can see it. It remains there as history. You have the choice to either leave your history on or switch it off. If you switch your history off, all the chats you have disappear after 24 hours. Funny enough, that's actually quite useful. So if you have a general boardroom that you meet new people in, it's a good idea to actually hold the chat. Everybody sees it, all that sort of stuff. And then what they can do when they want something is if you hover on a piece of information and you move across to the right here, you see that funny little smiley face, which is a reaction to the chat. But then you've also got this envelope, which allows you to forward the whole chat to your inbox. In other words, you get an email about the chat. So it's actually quite useful. Now, that's in the spaces. If you look at a chat, the difference between a space and a chat is one-on-one. You're actually dealing with an individual there. So for example, in spaces, if I look here at the name of that space called test and I hit the drop-down arrow, I got a whole menu there as well, where I can turn off my history, I can leave this chat, I can block and report the chat, I can delete the space, I can set my notifications, I can pin the chat to the top, I can mark stuff as unread, I can edit the name and the emoji of the chat, of the space, I can add people, or I can view the members. Now at the moment, it's only me that's a member here. But if I want to, I can actually add people. So I'm going to add what? Let's put Jasper. What's Jasper? What's your Gmail address? I can't remember. It's Jasper.
Gmail is jjkluter.jc.
Okay, jjkluter at .jc.
Kluter is a
yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
jjkluter.jc at gmail.com.
At gmail.com, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to invite Jasper. There it is. It sees him. It sees he's got a Gmail account, and I send it. So he's been invited. Now, fairly obviously at this stage, if I view the members, I'm in, but Jasper can join. Now, he can join because he's going to get an email by just responding to the email. But something else he can do, and I just heard it go through to Jasper there. Something else he can do is, you see at the top here, the URL. I can invite Jasper to join by clicking on this URL because I have invited him to this group. Now, again, we're getting a little bit technical here, but I can then, having had Jasper join on this group, if I hit the plus sign next to chat, I can start a group conversation, or I can just start a conversation. Or on the person here, I can start typing JJ Kluter.jc. Okay, it hasn't picked it up yet. It hasn't had long enough yet. It normally just picks up the people. You add them to a one-on-one chat. Having said that, in the test space as well, let's just view the members. He still hasn't joined. That's why I didn't pick it up. Now I can either message him, block this, or remove him from the space. Anyway, the point is you've got this whole chat thing. On top of it as well, on the bottom right here, you can start a meeting, which is a video meeting or audio meeting. But also on the bottom left, under Meet, I can create a new meeting or join a meeting. And it's very similar to Zoom. The only difference is the unpaid account doesn't record. I think the unpaid Zoom account doesn't record either. I'm not too sure. I think you can only record on a paid Zoom account. You can record on a paid Google Workspaces account as well. So you can do all of these things and you don't have to leave the screen, because I'm still sitting in my Gmail screen. So if I click on this Gmail thing here, there's my Gmail. Now, if I look on the right-hand side over here, there's some interesting stuff. There is a calendar. So if I click on that, what happens is I see today in the calendar, and there it is, right? Now it's showing you my actual calendar here. And in fact, I can select my calendars and I can switch off Gavin And I can switch on. I haven't created a calendar. There we go, Community SA, boom. And I'm seeing that. And I cross that out and I open that up. Let's go back to my select calendar. And all I'm seeing now is the Community SA calendar and the gig calendar, which are the two I had chosen. So you've got access to today's calendar as well. And on the top right-hand side here, you can actually go and select a day out of a calendar, or you can move ahead a day at a time or backwards a day at a time on these arrows. You can also look at a schedule of stuff instead of a calendar, and that'll give you a whole schedule. Or you can look at a day, and obviously you can select the calendars, and you can also select the date straight out of there. And if you want to see the whole calendar, here is the open in a new tab option up here. And if you click it, it'll open the calendar in a new tab. So everything's at your fingertips. You don't have to move. You can obviously send stuff as well. But having said that, if I open one of these, the community email thing, it says, hi, you know, welcome, etc. If I look here now, if I click on creating an appointment here, it picks up this message heading and it actually links to it, so that you're actually dealing with this email by putting it in your calendar. It is really smart. On top of it as well, if you look on the here on this bar, you've got access to Google Keep, which we won't deal with now, but you've also got access to your tasks. So those tasks that you created in your spaces, for example, if we had to create a task here, let's go to tasks and create a task over here. Let's add a space task. Let's call this a test task. I'm happy with that. I'm adding it. I can add a date and time, and I can assign it to someone, etc. Let me assign it to myself. Now, there's the test task. If I look here under tasks, right, welcome to task, get started. Remember, brand new installation. And there's my test task. It's done. So the tasks are here. Then one of the most interesting things is, under here as well, you also have Google Contacts. You click on that and it loads your contacts. Now, I haven't got any contacts because it's a brand new Google account. But let me take you, let me log in as myself actually. Let's go to me. Now, excuse the messy nature of my diary. It's just busy as hell at the moment. So I'm sitting here, and on the right-hand side, come on, up you come. There we go. Got all sorts of things. Come on, loading the calendar. It's taking its merry time. There we go. Now I've got a lot of other things loaded here which are not relevant. But under the new account, I also had contacts. So if I go to contacts here, it starts loading my contacts. Now, if I look for someone under my contacts, I can hit the search button. And let's go and find Jasper here again. There's Jasper. There's his Gmail account. Great, I picked that up. Now, there's Jasper, and just underneath him is a whole bunch of buttons. So I'm still in my calendar. I'm looking at my contacts. I can send him an email, fairly obviously, so I don't have to start an email and look for him on the to button, etc. I can just start here. I can set an appointment with him, schedule a meeting with him. I can start a conversation or send a message to him, which will go via Google Chat. And I can start a video call, which is Google Meet. So everything's right at your fingertips. So if I, for example, want to send him an email, I just click that email button. And there we go. Jasper's email address is in there. We can start sending the message, type it in, etc. I've also got all sorts of templates and things that I've got here, but don't worry about that. So what you've got is a tremendously powerful tool. And let me do this again. I haven't left Gmail. I haven't left Gmail. Guys, you have no idea how powerful this is. You're literally sitting on one screen and you can do all these things. Now, let me minimize this again, and that will bring up that screen that I left you with before I went into Gmail. So you saw we can do a mail. We've got access to chat, the video and audio meetings. The files, I showed you the Google stuff. You can either Google Drive or you can create a new file and share it and work together on it. The tasks I showed you and the access to the calendar, all from the same screen. This makes life really, really easy. Now, in order to help you guys get this sorted out, what I've done is I've created what I call your own virtual head office at my website. Now, I'm going to show you how to get there, but I'm going to show you what the virtual head office looks like before I show you how to get there. So, let's close this down and bring up, where are we? I think it was there, yeah. There is the virtual head office that you will get. Now, this virtual head office literally will work for you as long as you have a Gmail account. It gives you access to all sorts of things and all sorts of other software as well, which you might be asked to sign into. But literally, each one of these links will take you to your account. And this is a generic dashboard that you can utilize with pleasure. If you want to get fancier, down at the bottom here, I've got a button that says, hey, you want your own customized dashboard? We can make you one. Obviously, I'm going to charge for that. But this generic dashboard has got access to just about everything you can possibly think of that you might need in a small business, including, if you look on the right-hand side, a full-out accounting system. Let me say it again. Everything on this screen is free. Everything. So you've got full-out reporting systems, full-out accounting systems. You've got event marketing. You've got task and project management, customer relationship management, planning through Millernote. You've got screen and video recording through Loom. You've got graphic design through Canva. All that stuff is free, including, by the way, a learning management system, which is called Google Classroom. So there's a hang of a lot of stuff here. Now, how do we get there? Well, simple thing is you've got to remember my name. You go to gavinjulian.com. That's the screen you would see. Then, down at the very bottom, contact Gavin Julian. And the second you push that contact Gavin Julian, you get another screen, which is how to get hold of me, what my CV looks like, where my website is, etc. And then down at the bottom here, I can help. And the first gray thing on the left-hand side is your virtual head office. Smack that, and guess what? There you are. And you can use that with pleasure. Just save the URL, and every time you want to use your head office, you just pop in there and you push a button. Away you go. Now, let me just repeat again. Everything I showed you tonight is free. You've got access to it already. If you haven't got a Gmail account, you obviously haven't got access to it. Create a Gmail account. How do you create a Gmail account? That's easy. Go to this virtual head office, click on mail there. If you haven't got a Gmail account, we'll say, hey, make a Gmail account. And then you carry on from there.